easy and available. You don't have to look for things, just use what you have in your cupboards, the store, or in your garden. Today, I'm gonna pair some sausages and peppers. With that, I'll serve with spaghetti pesto. And for my dessert, I've got something so perfect made with rice. It's a rice buffet. Now, for the sausages and peppers, you're just gonna cut the peppers and the sausages, bring them together into one delicious dish. The pesto, I'll be using something that you can never think about. That's the carrot tops. And then for the rice, I know you traditionally know how to cook rice and have it with your soup. Today it's gonna be a dessert. So you need to stay tuned. This is the menu with Dulcie Fadzai Madekwa. So to start off, I'm gonna start off with my dessert, which is the rice buffet. What I need is some jelly, your packet jelly that you find in the stores, some milk. You also need some sugar and eggs. Now, I've got my rice. A lot of chefs would condone me for this, but I think, what? You can always just play around with your kitchen. Some would prefer the shorter grain rice, but I'm using the normal long grain rice. What I did, in this beautiful pot, I just had my rice cooked down until it was almost done. Right. I'm going to add in some milk. Now this is a one pot buffet. Traditionally, you take another pot, do the custard, bring it in. But why give yourself so much labor when you can just do it all at once? So let's go. I've got about a cup of milk that I'm going to add into my rice. This is already cooked rice. So what you need to do, maybe just remove your rice from the stove to deglaze your pot. Because traditionally when you're doing the custard, you do it in another pot, then add in the rice. The reason why we do this is because mostly when we fry your rice or you cook your rice, that those particles are so we don't want that. So to deglaze the pot and to remove I'm using milk, pouring it in bit by bit and deglazing my pot. That's removing. So there I go. The rest of the milk is in. I continue to stir this until all the rice that's on the bottom of my pot is removed. You know that rice when you cook? Yep, that's the one we're trying to get rid of. So that when we do our custard, it's nice and perfect, eh? So, yeah, you just need to be patient. Do that gently, patiently. It's quite a task, but you will enjoy this dessert. I'm making a dessert. This is rice. I'm going to be adding in some sugar. For a difference, try this. I know in our African homes, we don't have so many desserts. We only go to the jellies and the ice cream, but this is another dessert that I know you're going to enjoy. Okay, so now I'm adding in some salt. About a quarter teaspoon. And a quarter cup of sugar. This is where all the deliciousness comes from. And remember, I'm still off my heat. I'll mix this. Now when I'm mixing in my sugar, I'll then take in an egg yolk. Why? Because this is a dessert, remember, sugar, eggs, vanilla. What more could you need? So quickly, so that you do not cook down the egg, we want it to become a custard, not boiled or cooked eggs. So if you do it slowly, it's going to cook. Plus running my scrambled eggs, and that's a no, no, no. Okay, so back onto the stove. If you're looking in my pot, the rice has actually changed color. It's now a beautiful golden cream custardy flavor. Yep. So I'll just let this cook down until it thickens. You know, when rice is cooking, it sort of thickens, and that thickening is what will bring us the best dessert. Yep. So remember, I said you can use the long rice, the shorter rice, or even the overcooked rice. If you've got leftover rice, this is the perfect dessert for that. I'm making a rice parfait. This is a dessert that's done with leftover rice, or you can actually cook your rice. So traditionally, most chefs would remove the rice, put it in another pot with custard, but I like mixing my rice, my pot, my custard in one big dish because, well, we are home chefs. Why do we need to complicate things? So I've put in some milk, some sugar, some salt, and now I'm adding in some vanilla, about a teaspoon. And the smell of vanilla in a custard, gosh, that's to die for, I tell you. So this needs to thicken. As I continuously stir, it's thickening because I need to cool this down. So in my dish, remember I said I'm making some peppers and sausage, pairing that with some spaghetti pesto, but you need your dessert to sort of cool down. Remember, this is a dessert after all. Yep. So it's actually reducing. I'll just leave that for a bit and I'll show you how to make the jelly. Right. This is a store-bought jelly. Easy, simple. What you need to do, just remove it out of the packet. And most of these come with instructions. So for mine, it needs about a cup of hot water and also a cup of cold water. So it's simple. Yep. I've got my boiling water in here. And never forget the other pot. Just give it a gentle stir. Wow. Right. So I need about a cup of boiling water. It's beautiful. It's pink. And this is my daughter's favorite color. Okay. I'm gonna give that a big stir and then add in the cold water. A store-bought jelly, how simple is that? Then I'm making it from the gelatin, just buy the store-bought, mix in some cold water, a cup, also a cup of cold water, which is what I'm doing now. But because I like my jelly sweet, I don't really follow the packet instructions because then, yeah, some of us have a sweet tooth, so no. Just reduce the water a bit if you're like me, and then let this sit in the fridge for about 30 to 40 minutes while you finish off your rice. Remember, this is a rice custard that I'm going to layer up into a buffet. So now, some cream. I'm adding in my cream in my rice. And the most perfect way to do this, again, is with coconut rice, or rather coconut milk. Ooh. The milk just gives it another dimension of flavor from the coconuts. And I know of a certain country where they make this every Christmas. And while they're serving it, they put an almond peanut, and the one who gets the bowl with the almond peanut has to marry within that year. So I know one or two people I need to do that for. So okay, I think this is beautiful and thick. It doesn't need to be too thick because remember, this is a rice, it's a starch. So when you relax it, it continues to thicken. So I'm going to serve it two ways. The first part, I'm going to put it in a bowl and then let this just cool down because I'm going to add in my jelly. Remember, I made a jelly, beautiful red jelly, yeah. And then put it in there. The reason why I'm using a bigger bowl is I need it to cool down. Then later on, layer it in my beautiful clear water glasses. Well, I can actually eat this. This is good. Now you can have this as a porridge and then reduce the amount of sugar. But because I'm making a dessert, I just added in a bit more sugar. I need to let that rest so that it just cools down and then I'll finish off my dessert. Have you ever wondered, walking in the garden, what all those leaves could do if you cook them? So many times I've been in my garden and wondered, all those carrot tops, or you know, when you're looking at mbambayira, those tops, the leaves, they look so good and green. And I've got a huge garden full of mbambayira leaves and carrots. So I decided, to look for things that I can do with the carrot tops and the mbambairas. So today I'll show you one of the things I found out. Right, I'm gonna be making a spaghetti carrot top pesto. That's a carrot top pesto. Can you believe it? Traditionally made with basil, but today I'm making it with some carrot tops. Carrot tops, carrots. The good old leaves. Yep. So what? Just remove them. Do not use the stalks. These are nasty. No. So we throw those away, and then we take the leaves into a bowl. I need about a cup or so of leaves. Beautiful green leaves. You know, when you're growing your garden, don't throw this away. And I know a lot of people use this for tsuro and stuff, but why? This is deliciousness. Yeah, this deliciousness, definitely. Yeah, so about a cup, because I don't have too many people around. So if you've got more people, just increase maybe to about 3 or 4. And then the lovely carrots, just let them be for now. You've used carrots a long time. So let's use the carrot tops. Right, to this, I'm gonna add some peanuts. You can use any sort of peanuts. This is our cooking. This is me cooking. I use what's available to me. Yep. So in goes my cheese. Blend it for about 5 minutes. You really do not need to add oil, but yeah, a bit of oil will do you some good. So I've got my blender right here. I'm gonna put this all in, blend it until it's thoroughly mixed. Right, now I'm gonna add in just a touch of oil. Remember, I'm making a spaghetti, so you need to coat that spaghetti with all this pesto. So in goes my oil, and then the last blitz. Just let that blitz until it's beautiful and reduced. You can actually see all the green going on in there. It's just exactly the same with the basil pesto, but more delicious. Yeah. That looks just about right. So now the pasta. I'm making a pasta. Right. So you need to understand this. Pasta needs lots and lots of water. You don't cook a pasta the same way you would a rice. It's a definite no-no. With rice, you need very little water. 1 part of rice to 2 parts of water. But now when it's a pasta, spaghetti, macaroni, whatever you call it, lots and lots of water. So about 4 times, maybe for a 500 gram, you need about 3 liters of water. So I'm using less than 500 grams in a big pot. What I need to do first, some oil. Definitely some oil. Now, I need to explain something here. When you're going to be using your spaghetti to coat it with some sauce, you do not need to add in the oil. But if you're going to be using it as a side dish and then you put on your maybe means or whatever, you need the oil in. I'm making a pesto. I added in some oil, just a touch, not too much. Again, in goes my salt. Lots of salt. Lots of salt. Like almost like a sea water sort of thing going on in there, because the seawater is very salty. And then let that boil. In goes your pasta. Pasta is very easy to make, and it takes a very, very short time to be done. About 5 minutes, but you can always use the time that's on your package. Just look at the back of your package. It gives you a rough time frame, and then use that. Right. So about 5 or so minutes have gone by, and my pasta is al dente. What I call al dente is that stage where your pasta is not chewy and not too tough. And it's not mushy. You know, when you eat it, you should feel a bite. You should still have a bite. But I found no. And it should not be too tough. So that's al dente. Now, remove your pasta and reserve some of the water. I'll be back in a minute to show you how to finish this off. So now I've removed my spaghetti and I've put it in this beautiful bowl. Now for my pesto, every time you serve a pesto or anything you serve, you need to adjust for the seasoning. So you need to taste that a bit. So I'm just gonna go over to my pesto, adjust it if it needs some more seasoning. And then because I was using some crushed garlic, I didn't put it in at the beginning. So I'll add in some garlic, adjust my seasoning, blitz it for a minute, and then come back here. Okay, so this is it. It's looking beautiful. It's actually looking gorgeous. I'm adding in about a teaspoon of garlic, crushed garlic. You can actually use the actual garlic you use at home. And then taste my salt and pepper. That's perfect. I don't need to add in some more. Just the garlic will do the trick. And then a minute. It's perfect. So I'll bring it over to my spaghetti, to my pasta. I'm using this beautiful Kelly macaroni sort of thingy. You can use spaghetti, you can use Kelly pasta, whatever you have. Right. Then I'll just open this and I'll show you the gorgeous bits that are in here. Let me just drizzle them on top of my pasta. Look at all that. Green, gorgeous deliciousness. Today we used the carrot tops. Tambozoro zama carrots, you know, the beautiful orange color. Yeah. But today we went with the green. Now give it a good toss. It should actually coat. Whoa, this looks good. Yeah. This looks good. Now, if your pesto is too thick, what you need to do is add in some reserved water, the water that you used for your spaghetti. Just take a bit and add it in there. But mine looks perfect. It's not too thick. It's beautifully coated. Just make sure all of it is coated. And I'm gonna be using some peppers and sausage to serve this. So this aside, onto my peppers and sausages. I'll be back in a minute. I mean, who doesn't like a sausage? It's the greatest meat that was ever processed by humankind. Now, a sausage is basically a combination of cuts that are ground and then put into a casing. So I've got my beautiful country style sausage right here, and I'm just gonna cut it some beautiful pieces. You know, one thing I love about cooking a sausage, besides being one of the fastest and easiest meats, two, it's already flavored. So I'm just cutting them into smaller pieces. You can actually do the whole big sausage and then just turn it. But I'm gonna be adding some peppers, just some robot peppers, green, yellow, red, onions, because sausage already has lots and lots of flavor. This meat does not need to be added in some items, you know. So it's simple. If you don't have spices, if you're not a great chef, this is a way of disguising. Yeah. So smaller pieces, and then some oil in a pan. Right. Just a little bit of oil because the sausage already has its own oils and juices. And now, if you don't want it to sweat when you add in the sausage, just let this heat thoroughly. It has to be like piping hot. Yep. Just make sure you don't burn your face. Yep. But let that go. You can actually do this on a grill. It's also perfect. So I'll put this aside while I look at my beautiful peppers. Now in here, we've got the red, the yellow, the green. You know, peppers, they all have different flavors. This is why when we're cooking, we can just combine them, just to have the best of all worlds. Why have one when you can have all? Yep. And then an onion. Why I love onions. When you cook this down, they sweat and then they produce some sugary flavor. It stops being bitter and it actually becomes sweet when you cook this down. So yeah, so I'm gonna be cutting this, adding into my pot. Just one of those things you can do. Nepoto one, you don't even need different pots. One pot, 5 minutes, and you're ready to eat. So, be back in a sec. So I've got some oil in the pan. It's really heated through. If you can see it's smoking, so you need to keep your face away. Add in your sausages. Listen to that sizzle going on there. Yep. This is beautiful. Now we just want a browning on both sides. I'm gonna be having a feast in here. So let me put this away. While this goes on, I'll be cutting my peppers. Now, into small julienne. What we call a julienne are the strips. So here I've just cut and julienne some peppers. What we call julienning are the strips. And then I've got some onion as well. So let me just finish this off and then throw it in with the rest of my sausage. Yep. A bit of Italian there. A good toss, a mix. Okay. Now, I'm going to put this in with my sausage. I just need the sausages and the peppers to just marry together, which is like a minute or so. Onto my stuff again. Then lid on 2 minutes and then we toss it and serve. So I made a beautiful meal. I've got a dessert and then I've got a pesto pasta, and then now I'm just doing and reducing my sausages with peppers. So while this is reducing, what I'll be doing here is assembling my rice parfait in this beautiful tumblers. The ones that you have in your home will be just perfect. Firstly, your rice. It goes in. You can put quite a layer, maybe almost a quarter way through. Right. Add in your jelly. Remember, we made the jelly with water, cold water and boiling water. Now some strawberry sauce will be perfect again in here. And then top up with some more custard. This is just custard and rice married together. It's perfect. Look at this. It looks beautiful. Alright, I'll just place it in here while I assemble the next one. Again, I'm going to be putting 3 layers of jelly in here because my daughter loves jelly and me not so much. Okay, I think this is done. I'll put this aside. Perfect. And 3 layers of jelly in here. Again, some rice. My grandmother used to make some rice pudding for me when I was younger. But back then I didn't understand the whole concept of rice being sweet. But now when I grew up, I added a touch of vanilla and egg into my grandmother's recipe, and it's now so perfect. So my daughter is a jelly fan, so I'm putting 2 layers of jelly in her bowl. For me, just 1 layer will be fine. So in goes some more jelly. And the final topping of the rice pudding. Okay, this looks perfect. Right. Now you could actually put some whipped cream on top, but really, this looks perfect. So unadulterated. Perfect. Right. Putting this aside, and I'll show you what I did with my pasta. Now remember, I used carrot tops, mashija, and my carrots, and then some garlic, salt, pepper, a bit of cheese. Blended that in and got this beautiful green color. I added in some tomato just to have some color in there. Right. Look, this is home cooking. You don't need to tighten up everything as if it's a restaurant. Just a bit of neatening of your bowl and you can actually serve it like this. Okay, this looks perfect. Well, this is home. A taste. This is a happy song right here. Okay, perfect. And then look at these sausage. It brings out my Italian. Well, my name is Dulcie, by the way. My grandmothers or my great grandmothers were from Italy, I think. Okay. This is beautiful. Okay, I've got some sausage with some peppers, red. You can see the bright red, the green, the yellow. I'm just gonna put it here. And this is gonna be our meal for the day. I hope you could join us, but unfortunately, try it at home and tell us how you find it. Easy, simple, cupboard ingredients. That's for you.